You're asking me how critics come up with the numbers for their wines?
Hi, my name is Steve Heimoff, and my job is to taste all the California wines. I have never tasted an Arizona wine to the best of my memory. So are you going to ask me which is Arizona and which is California? You guys are going to bust me.
I'm definitely not fond of wine scores. It's like saying just because you like this, everybody else should like this. They're incredibly politically influential. A lot of times you give your wines to people who have palates that have developed around specific regions, and you give them something a little different, and the next thing you know, they don't like that wine because they've been drinking the same stuff their whole lives.
In wine scoring, I don't know if political is the word I would use, but certainly style-driven.
Well, when a critic comes up with a score for a wine, they're trying to give it an honest evaluation on whatever scale makes sense to them. The one that's most predominant here in the United States is 100 points.
Thank you. Smells good, smells clean, smells rich. Some good fruit. It's a very nice red wine. It's very dry, it's fruity, it's balanced, it's complex, it has a long finish, it's got some nice blackberry, black cherry, and spice, and I think it's quite a good wine.
You actually can hire companies that they advertise. They have a formula, a recipe you can follow that will help you develop a point-driven wine.
There's been wines that have scored 60s and 70s, but you don't really hear about them because as soon as somebody gets that score, they just try to pretend it never happened, of course.
This doesn't strike me as quite as rich and complex as the first wine. It's a little earthy, dusty.
For the same reason that people look for the thumbs up from the movie critic, people look for, these days, a 90-point score or above from a wine critic as a sort of validation.
But it really comes down to your palate. You really have to decide what you like. And if you have a Walmart palate, then you have a Walmart palate. That's fine. You have to trust what you like.
The wine is also not all that satisfactory once it's in my mouth.
If we could get rid of scores altogether, would that be a good thing? Probably. The problem is that they're really useful for consumers who don't have the time and energy to maybe sometimes even read a tasting note.
I mean, they're a good guide, they're a good starting point, but if you really are serious about your wines, you really need to get to know the palate of the person who's scoring the wines.
I kind of like that too. It's dry, which is good. It's balanced. It's round. It has a certain creamy mouthfeel that I like. There's certainly a good explosion of berry cherry fruit in there, but it's not a fruit bomb. It's not jammy. The fruit seems to be balanced with earthier spices and tobacco, and maybe even something that seems leathery, but it's a very nice wine.
A lot of people go home with 90-point scoring wines or 92-point scoring wines or even 100-point scoring wines, and they think, where did that score come from? I hate this wine.
The American palate and all these rating systems always seem to focus on massive. It's like only women with big tits are good looking. You know, I'm not a big tit kind of guy.
It doesn't give me any joy to bash a wine, although I will say that sometimes it gives me a little joy to bash a $200 bottle of wine.
We're not chasing the market. We're not chasing Parker scores. We're not chasing wine enthusiast, wine spectator scores. We're making wines that we love to make. And we're going to always do that here. It's the way it is.
what we're doing and what we're presenting, we're like an indie band. We'll sell our CDs. We're fine.